That's it.
Nice.
It's as easy as that. I love
Nice.
this is the first interview of anything, and I don't know. I had the same problem with the show. We were having such like a natural like riffing conversation, and then you turn everything on, and then it's just like quiet, and then it's like, so what's new? So I don't know. We're just keeping it cash, but I also don't want
Yeah.
that Joe Rogan like we've already been talking about something that you're not privy to vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your favorite type of podcast opening? The cold open, the
Well,
theme song that's too intricate?
I've been on a lot of Zoom podcasts, and my favorite Zoom opening is mentioning one weird esoteric thing and having it branch off and into a nonsensical conversation that basically leads back to the first question, and then we're done.
Ooh, coming full circle. I think we could do that. I think we could
Yeah.
do that, like circular thinking. I am going to do this. What is up? My name's Brian Barganier. I'm interviewing one of my best friends, Paul Kilmer, Connecticut magician, comedian, fucking just amazing person. I guess I have to introduce people, right? Because I can't even expect people to read the title of an episode of anything or the captions. Ever since starting a bunch of new shows, I've been getting a lot of great unsolicited advice to people not watching my content. And I've been really appreciative of that. So I can't trust anyone to read anything. So if you want to just say your social security number out loud, make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. No, I love how like you're just with the mom from Mrs. Doubtfire right now too.
I am. A lot of people know that I work at a movie theater, and we
Hmm.
remodeled about 6 years ago, and we had a raffle. These came off the walls, so yeah, I just hang out with Sally Field and the poster from the 1987 Batman movie, which I'm pretty sure that's not when it came out, but people will let me know in the comments.
It's
The
89,
comment,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the year I was born. You talking about the original?
yeah, I
The
do
Tim
have the whole
Burton?
poster with the
I should know this. The amount of shit I've talked about that movie. Well, not that movie. Okay. This is a debate I've had with many people drunk on the bus. Why not have it with one of my good friends? I think that, everyone talks about like who's the best Batman, and then they have their ranking. They'll be like blah, 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 blah. And then always at the end, it's Val Kilmer. But either way, they have their ranking. But I'm like, you have to not only rank their Batman, but you have to rank their Bruce Wayne too.
yeah,
Because
no,
playing both is like who pulled off both?
yeah,
Michael Keaton?
yeah. Michael Keaton and Tim Burton. A lot of people forget that Tim Burton directed that movie,
I
and
didn't.
he got the entire series. Batman, even from the beginning, is super depressing. If anybody was going to direct a Batman film and
Mhm.
capture the pure depressive nature of an orphan that becomes vigilante, who in turn creates all of his villains and creates all the problems in his life,
Yeah,
who has
literally.
unlimited resources, and takes on a child apprentice, multiple child apprentices,
Kills one of them, has to fight one of them later.
a disturbing number of childhood apprentices. Even his own
Yeah.
son was killed by the Joker,
Oh, right.
and
The Red Hood.
took
Well, it comes the Red
Superman to rip.
Hood.
It took Superman to finally rip the Joker's heart out of his chest because in one of the
Hmm.
timelines, the Joker went as far as to kill Lois Lane and Superman's son, who
Jesus.
also had powers. Uh, Tim Burton really captured it. Like, oh, it's the first Batman. Oh, well, you know what? The first 5 minutes, he's going to therapy. He's trying to deal with his problems. He's beating up drug dealers at night.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. And like I love like let's go with like his Bruce Wayne, like
Yeah.
ultimately, you know that part where like the reporter and like some guy are like looking at the suit of armor and he's lurking like classic billionaire fashion, like in the shadows, just waiting to drop the price tag on that fucking thing. Like, you know how much I paid for that fucking thing?
I know.
Ah,
It's like,
classic.
here's the thing. My favorite analogy is uh Jeff Bezos could have flown into outer space with any rocket, and he chose a
That's true.
dick-shaped rocket, and that is such a flex on the other billionaires, because it's like he could have built a spaceship. um it could have been super cool, it could look like a transformer. No, it's a big penis, and
Mhm.
now we have to live with that.
The thing
As a
is, too, everyone's like, oh, it looks like a dick. Like, that looks stupid. But, like, you don't think about that one beautiful moment as it's shooting into space and it kind of eclipses the sun, and there's just
yeah,
this dick shadow that engulfs, like, some poor city that's bombed out because he keeps shooting rockets off from there. Ah,
yeah,
beautiful.
that like, because it's like, oh yeah, no, that was a deliberate choice and a masterstroke that's going to feed comedy for years. You
Yeah.
know how George Bush got comedy through the 90s, and George Bush
H?
Jr.,
Oh, yeah, yeah, you mean H.
and then he went away, and it was no one had anybody, nothing to talk about. That's our George Bush.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be talking about. Dick-shaped rockets, uh, eccentric millionaires, Elon
Mhm.
Musk in a full
He's
samurai suit.
He might as well at this point because like he's just going out there and helping Chappelle get pity laughs at this point. So it's like I don't understand. New money is different than old money. And I'm not even talking about like old money. I'm just talking like 2002 money at this point. Jesus fucking Christ. But like Tim Burton, like let's go back to Batman for a second because I have
Yeah.
so many more hot takes. Because just as like he at least captured like it's very comic book like
Yes,
Danny DeVito's the Penguin, like Penguin is like
amazing.
even Walken when he's the mayor, he's got like
Yeah,
that like steampunk like top hat on the whole time.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's fine. That's
Literally, my
fine.
favorite scene in that movie is when the Joker shoots down the
First,
black bat plane.
yeah, that's a good
It's
stuff. Like, I
so,
mean, you got the OG fucking Joker too.
yeah. He
So
basically unzips his pants and pulls an abnormally large gun out of his pants, and then he shoots down the bat plane,
yeah,
and it's amazing, and all the gags are the flower, the laughing gas.
it's classic. And then like Heath Ledger, like within Nolan's movie, like he did a good job or whatever. Like it's not like take too many pills and die, good job, but like it's scary. It was thought provoking or whatever. But this is also like Burton in his prime too. He's not just wedging Johnny Depp into everything and making everything kind of purple. You know,
Yeah,
he's actually putting like what would this look like if it was
no,
glowing? And like, I don't know. And like, but like, there's something beautiful because I watched the new Batman with
yeah.
the vampire boy, and it was
Oh,
so bad, like so bad. Like the
no, I almost said Pete Davidson, but no. The
it's so
I
scary. I
can't, I
almost
can't.
said Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
um, Whatever his
it's
fucking name is. I don't even give a fuck right now. And it was like so bad, but like it was so bad. It was like it was like it was trying to capture Batman Forever vibes. And I was
Yeah,
like, that
yeah.
movie is those Joel Schumacher videos are, I'm calling them videos because that's what they deserve. It's like someone playing trucks, basically. But I was like, that's what they deserve to be called. Like those Joel Schumacher movies are unobtainably bad. You
Yeah.
can't recreate that level of stupid. And like he solved the new Batman, he solves every riddle in a fucking second. It's like he's the
Yeah,
Riddler, not a guy in a hoodie writing
I know.
poems. This is supposed to stump you. They're supposed to
Yeah,
haunt you. They're supposed to like remind you of things. And then you're like, oh, that dead bitch from like 5 years ago. That was the
yeah,
first clue.
yeah.
Shit. You know?
Because Batman has an entire like custom computer that he built to help him solve the riddlers. I get what you're saying because working in a movie theater and watching um many adaptations of many films over the years, reboot
Valid.
of a reboot, and it's sort of kind of like we're going to take this classic franchise, but how do we make the most amount of money on it?
Mm.
Uh, it's like that's what happened with the new the Star Wars. No one wants a male protagonist, and that's fine.
But
But
you also have the guy that's revamping Star Trek, redoing Star Wars, which is like literally forbidden territory. It's like, and also J.J. Abrams, Cloverfield, the
yeah,
movie that's literally fucking T.J. Miller in selfie mode for like fucking 2 hours.
yeah,
What are we doing here?
yeah.
We
And
just
going back,
we are dependent on droplets of nostalgia. There's no, I know this is such a, this idea is not even original anymore. There's no original ideas, but it's
yeah,
like painful now.
because and I always tell this people, and I'm just going to go back to something so I don't get canceled. What I mean about no one wants a male protagonist is that
Yeah, that's gonna get you canceled. The men are gonna
uh,
come after you.
I know someone's going to have a problem with that. But what I'm saying
Sure.
is that someone learned along the way that they can flip the script. You're still being fed the same three stories
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
over and over again, and you're just changing the character.
You know how I knew it
Um,
was all dead? Have you ever seen the movie? It had to have come out in theaters because I made Ham watch it with me, and that is Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
I did.
So fucking good, dude. Literally machine guns in the 1800s. And the thing is, they do a great job with some of the CGI in it. The witches are kind of like, they kind of, for the first time, I feel like those are like what witches should be like. These like fucking like goblin, fucking like insanely powerful, like Goku fucking Super Saiyans. And then they're like, but these two kind of like just Gatling gun them and stuff. And you're like, okay, come on. And they're literally like prop like stormtrooper guns that are like, no, this is the 18. It's so, I mean, you've seen it, but it's so much leather. And I've seen it multiple times and I can't tell because it's a Gary Sanchez production if it's satire or if it's not. I really
Yeah,
can't. I mean, it has to be, but it's like also in good faith. I can't imagine like you could have fed people with this money.
yeah.
Like this isn't like
Um,
a you got to do one for them so you could do one for you. It's like don't tell me this is so you could make Ricky Bobby or something.
yeah.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't put Ricky Bobby on my on the plate like that.
I that it's so funny. Like going to the theater. Just like you have a couple of different kind of moviegoers. And
Yeah.
it always brings me back to the virtual writers group of how when I was coming up with material, and you have like the people who actually really enjoy movies, and then you have the people who have nothing better to do to go to the movies, and then you've got teenagers who are like chaos. They don't care.
I
They
mean, movie theaters are like one of the only safe havens. I mean, with malls dying, you have like where else are kids going to get hand jobs now?
I know.
Movie
No, no, they're
theaters
not
and
getting handcuffs. They
gazebos
move
that
that.
homeless people aren't sleeping in. That's all they really got. So, like people that bang at the movie theaters, is there like a commonality? Is there like something that you could like? Are they like all in like a trench coat usually? Like,
Oh, it's so funny because
is
the
it usually like
people,
an older couple trying to like fire things back up? I
to
think
be
it's
honest
that.
with you, it is completely random. It is
Interesting.
completely random. Because you have you're right in a certain, from a certain point of view, but you have people that are trying to spice up their relationship. You have kids who don't have a debit card or credit card and can't get an hourly hotel, who don't have their own space. Um, I like to when I work a shift. I like to play a game of where I try to figure out if a person's an escort or not. It's hilarious.
Mm.
And I'm looking, it's like this.
Why would you take a prostitute to the movies? Like, why not just get a motel room? Like, how
No,
much
it's not a
more
prostitute.
could it be? I'm sorry, escort. Excuse me.
No, no. What I'm saying is,
Companion.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
An escort is an individual that you're paying to spend time with you. A prostitute is the person that you
Yeah.
are paying to have sex with you. You can
Yeah.
have sex with an escort, but I can also have sex with a prostitute.
Right.
It's kind of like comparing apples, oranges, and prostitutes.
Sure. It's like all hot dogs are sausages, but not all
Yeah,
sausages are hot dogs. I
I
get
know.
it. Trust me, I get it. I've just been there's just we've covered a lot in like 20 seconds. We've
Yeah,
gone from Batman to gazebos and all sorts of things and stuff. But like, I don't know.
escorts.
So how long have you worked at a movie theater?
21 years.
Yeah.
On the 16th.
Gee, this January 16th?
Yep,
That's the
21
day
years.
after my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Wait, no, that's the day before my birthday. I can't
Happy
fucking
birthday!
talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's fucking crazy. I mean, like, okay. What is Damn it. I wanted to grab my Batman comics, but I don't know where the fuck they are. But I was gonna show you something because it had to pertain to something. I'm sorry. I'm high and I'm like scatterbrained thinking about it. But
Yeah.
what was the craziest movie premiere you guys have ever experienced? I think they're actually right here.
Honestly, for me, it had to be 8 Mile with Eminem, and the reason why is that uh Dr. Dre had made a uh movie like a couple months before, and there were riots at a couple of different other theaters. So they thought the same thing was going to happen with the 8 Mile. So we got emails from the home office, and they brought in plain clothes police officers and uniform police officers, and nothing happened. Everybody was very nice. People were just happy to see the movie. It was very busy, except on the during the last week. This thing was busy. This thing was like Passion of the Christ, except with Eminem. And um, I was taking tickets because I was a floater, which means I would cover all the stations. And I'm sitting there at the ticket drop, and this guy comes out of the theater, and he walks past me, and he has a flap of skin hanging from the back of his head. And he's just bleeding. And he turns to me and he's like, "Hey, bro, do you know where the bathroom is?" And I was like, "Hey, bro, I think I'm probably going to call an ambulance for you." It's like, "No, no, everything's fine." And I'm like, "Sir, you're bleeding. There's a skin flap." And then I waved my manager over, and he's like, "No, I'm just going to go back." And I said, "Sir, you're concussed." I was doing every kind of sign language to get my manager to call the police. my manager does, and this guy's arguing with me. Oh, I'm fine. I'm gonna, and he, he's like, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go home, and he takes his keys out of his pocket, and this guy is so out of it. I just take the keys out of his hand, and the cops come.
Jesus.
The cops come, and then the paramedics come, and this guy starts arguing, and he pushes one of the cops, and the cop tased him. And that's the first time I saw anybody get tased. And this guy got back up like a goddamn champion. And
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to stay down after that.
this guy was drunk and concussed.
Jesus.
And
You also shouldn't tase this person. I mean, I didn't mean that. You know, well, I did mean that.
Bleeding on the floor. And the paramedics, they get him, they wrestle him on the thing, and he's dead weight. And they get him on the gurney, and they wheel him out, and the cops go in, and the person who hit him in the back of the head with a beer bottle that still had its cap on. And what caused the skin flap was the cap, and he just belted him in the back of the head because the guy and it was bad. And the guy who hit him did not deny it, left with the police officer. And it was the craziest situation because the company made such a big deal about it. It was the last week the movie was playing, and we had like plainclothes officers and police officers, and that all ended. Right as it ended, they took all the security away, and that was the only when we needed when we needed control, it was just me. And I gave the keys to the police officer, and I'm like, I know for a fact this guy would have tried to drive home. This guy was either going to die in the theater for blood loss, or he was going to wrap his Miata around an oak tree or something. It was nuts. That was pandemonium. It was every up until
you didn't even have
point,
that many people for the movie Pandemonium. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it was so crazy because I have all these stories, and a lot of people don't believe me. And I say to myself, another story.
What's the one that's the most unbelievable? What's the one where people are like, that did not happen? Because I believe you.
The second time I saw someone get tased.
The second time was unbelievable. Now that you've seen it, you're like, that was nothing like the first time.
Yeah. Okay, so
they're like snowflakes, not like in the Trump way. I mean, like in the unique way.
Yeah. And so I was greeting, but this time on slow days we have
You weren't floating
and busy. Yeah. We can set up the greeter station in the middle of the theater and rip for both hallways, or we can set two greeters up in the center, and the two sides. I was greeting, and I was sitting there, and my supervisor was standing next to me because it was steady. It was getting busy. It was a Friday night. It was the beginning of a Friday night, and I had a bad feeling. And this dude walks into the women's room. And this happens all the time, but usually the guys get really embarrassed, and they do that like football spin move, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And this guy just went into the women's room and didn't come out for 5 minutes. And I looked at my supervisor and I said, we don't have sometimes at the theater, we don't have female staff. Sometimes they just will put all male staff on, depending on our turnover rate. And
it's not like TSAs.
Yeah, my supervisor looks at me. He's like, "What do we do?" And I was like, I'm just gonna go in and
knock, right? Like knock on the wall, because it's one of those ones that don't have a door. I'm assuming,
so
like just a hallway.
So I go in there. And this guy's staring at himself in the mirror. And I was like, "Hey, bro, you walked into the women's room. We need you to go into the men's room." And he looked at me, and he was like, "No, it isn't." And I responded with, there's a tampon dispenser on the wall. This is clearly a women's room. And he was like, no, it's not. And then at that point, I started to question my own sanity, because I was thinking to myself, man, this guy has convinced himself that this isn't a woman's room.
So he's just staring at himself in the mirror, so he's not going to the bath. It's like one thing if it's like, no, it isn't. And then he went to the bathroom, then he's like done.
Yeah.
It's like whatever, but like no harm, no foul. But like if he's just staring into the mirror, that's never a good sign.
And the worst part about it is women were both in the beginning and end stages of when they were using the bathroom. So you had women coming in and women leaving. And
Yeah.
now they're arguing with the guy who is arguing with me. I'm basically, I'm very calm. I'm like, sir, you need to leave the women's room. And then I have like 85-year-old grandma saying that no, everyone is arguing. And I radio to my manager. It's like, can you please call PD? This guy won't leave. I can't put my hands on him. But now there's just an angry group of women, completely justified. Their anger was justified. There was and now that I am a second guy in the women's bathroom, and the police get in, and he starts arguing. Now he's arguing with me, these women, and and then the cops. And the cop looks at the guy, says,
What? Okay, what good is any of this gonna do? Like over like what, semantics?
I don't know.
First of all, y'all need to just get gender neutral bathrooms and get it over with.
Yeah, no, and I've been saying that for years. And this guy looks at the police officer and says, "You prove to me that I'm standing in a woman's room." And the cop looks at him and says, if you don't leave in a second, I'm going to tase you. And then I'm going to get my friend to release the police dog, and we're going to let it in the building. And this guy was like, you
And
won't
they don't
do it.
Oh yeah, not excessive force, like literally at all. Just handcuff him.
Yeah. And then I move myself and the group of women closer to the wall.
Yeah.
Because I feel there's impending doom. I was like, okay.
It's a stand down for sure.
And I just like, hey guys, just move against the wall. And the cop just tases him, shoots him right in the neck. Right in the neck. Oh,
what the
and
fuck?
The guy drops like a sack of potatoes. And the guy's like convulsing. And just like the first guy, he springs back up.
Well, yeah, it's got to be a lot of adrenaline too.
The guy's like, "You're not going to do it again." And the cop gives him another, and he hits the ground, and he gets back up. And then the cops take an arm, and they move him out of the bathroom. And then we comp all the ladies. We give them free popcorn and free soda. But I am so happy.
Not a free ticket though.
I am so happy. I feel like, I'm going to just be completely honest. I'm kind of on the I'm kind of on the fence of there being like a higher power. And I was like, something inside of me says, hey, you might want to move out of the way. And I just moved out of the way. And the dude pointed it out. The dude was like, why is that guy moving? And this guy, I've never seen anything like that. He got hit in the neck with the taser, right? And then he hits the ground, and as soon as the cop lets off the juice, he springs back up like a professional wrestler. And I said to myself, these are the stories that are going to get me booked on comedy shows.
Yeah.
This was way before comedy. And that's the second time I said, and the third
That's what inspired you to start comedy. This guy's pissing himself on the ground, and you're like, this is it.
It's just like, it turns out, I mean,
you're not wrong.
No, it turns out the reason the guy did ketamine before he went to the theater.
Oh, yeah.
The cops got it out of him. And I said to myself, I don't know what that is. But if somebody was trying to taser me, I think you might, and then
they did not need to tase him like at all. They could have just took him, like put his knee, like kicked his knee in, put him down, got him on his knees, handcuff him, and then just be like, whatever. Not even kick him, like literally just be like, come on, grab him by the arm hastily.
And it's just like I feel like I felt I was like I said to myself, good job, Paul. You moved out of the way. And
You did. You dodged a ketamine bullet.
I dodged a taser bar.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I mean, for sure. And like that could have gone rogue or whatever. That's the thing too, is like maybe like you guys got like stuck together like a 80s sitcom. You both get one prong and then you touch hands and then you complete the circuit. That'd be fun. And then it would come full circle,
It would, and it was like I have all these stories. I always tell the new people I have 7 really terrible things that happened to me in 21 years. Most of them are funny and awkward
Is
stories.
each one like one of the 7 deadly sins? Like that one was vanity. Let me tell you about gluttony. So one time someone ordered a whole thing full of butter, a bucket of butter, they said.
They do that anyway. That it's like I'll put it in perspective.
Those are the people that are gonna fuck too. They need all that lube. They need all that extra butter.
Yeah. And it's always in a kid's movie. It's weird. Every box of oil, the artificial butter topping technically is 35 gallons. And we can go through 4 boxes. And we can go through at the beginning of the day. If you put 4 boxes in, we'll have to change them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes we'll go through 8 or 9 of those boxes in just one day. If you think about how much artificial butter topping that is, oh, that's a lot. That surprises people, but people love their butter.
This is the most grossed out I've been. You were literally just talking about someone getting tased in the neck. What the fuck, dude? Holy shit.
Computers are weird.
Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking God. Yuck. That's like when I first moved out here to Nebraska and I worked at this shithole chicken wing place and we had to make our own ranch dressing. And I realized I was making a 5-gallon drum of ranch every day. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how are we really going through this much? And then my manager was just talking about something else. He didn't know about my suspicions or the videos I was taking of all the ranch I was making. And he was like, yeah, dude, we're going through like 35 gallons of ranch a week. And I did them. And I was literally like, 5 times 7 is 35. I was like, holy shit, I am making 5 gallons of ranch every fucking day. Like, that's disgusting. Like, we'd make it in like a 5-gallon drum too, which is like horrifying to think about. But ta-da! I don't know why I changed it, but like I'd use like a power. Do you remember the video? I had like a power drill thing, and I would like, and there's a huge mixer at the end of it, and I'd just be mixing disgusting ranch dressing, just pouring buttermilk and fucking mayonnaise and ranch dressing topping dust into a fucking 5-gallon drum, and I'd be like, well, at least we're gonna go through this dirty bucket all in one day because I can't imagine this bucket getting dirtier.
I love the fact that I remember one Facebook post. It's like, I think my managers are starting to figure out that I'm making videos at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. This is hilarious.
Well, I was working at multiple restaurants and I was posting specifically about one. And then the other one, they were like befriending me. So they were like, hey, you're not doing that about this place, are you? And I was like, like, and then that was it. And then I don't know. I worked at like 5 restaurants like in the first week of moving to Nebraska.
I remember one you got into, I can't remember what it was, and you don't have to go into it, but I remember.
Yeah, it's fine.
You were pissed. What are you doing now? Are you working at a?
Oh, sweetie, this. I'm like mostly DJing. I just DJ'd karaoke the other night. I'm still doing like weddings and I I do. I work for a wedding and events company. I sometimes I do photography for them too, but it is not wedding season. I was doing a few like rogue events like throughout the past like few months. Like it was like National Adoption Day, and like this month I have like an expo for like people that do bridal event. I don't fucking know, dude. I think I'm taking pictures at it. Either way, I'm just disassociating. That's what I do now is I disassociate professionally. Yeah, I mean I was bartending. I was working in restaurants again, which I hadn't done since like my early 20s and teens and shit, and it was kind of weird doing it in my sober 30s. But like fuck, Nebraska's just so fucked, dude. Like I don't even know where to begin. I mean like down to like we'll just start with basic bare bones. Moving from Connecticut to Nebraska, night and day difference. It's like, first of all, you can't even pretend like no one acts like COVID was ever a thing. But here, they don't know. Like, I saw someone wearing a mask. They're like, man, I didn't know this was the gay part of town. Like, literally, they say shit like, no, I'm just kidding. But like, basically, they say shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking bad. Like Lincoln's liberal and is in like the most like Republican state. Like, whoop-de fucking do. Blueberry and a cherry pie of no one gives a fuck. But like, it is.
That's a great analogy.
Here. Yeah, I heard a drunk guy here say that one. So he's probably had time to sit with that. That's probably like on their family crest. They get the tabletop
from one drunk guy to the other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's spoken word. They don't even know how to write. So there's something okay, this is funny. I want to run this by you because I need to know if this makes sense. There's an abandoned building near the courthouse here in Lincoln. And I wrote a joke about it when I first moved here because it's still abandoned, but it used to be called Lincoln Literacy. And it's a big teal building and it's very pretty, but it's got all boarded up. It's very sad. Lincoln Literacy, it's a literacy center. And it's got all these like signs, like posters on it, like, condemned, failure to do this, like warning to leave premises. It's got all these like warnings you got to leave soon, leading up to like you're not like welcome on the property. And I like see all these signs and I'm just like, damn, if only they knew how to fucking read.
I know. It's like they shut the building down before people could read the signs. What do you want?
How do you even find that building? If you're looking for the literacy center, how do you even like GPS it? Like you got to find a bus schedule. That's more reading than a GPS. Use a GPS like turn right here. Yeah. I guess I just answered my own question. Can you get a driver's license if you don't know how to read? That is my question.
You could in the 30s.
Yeah, well, God. Knowing how to read, Jesus Christ. I don't think you were allowed to be a woman know how to read in the 30s. That would what are you trying to do? Vote? You fucking flapper.
Oh, yeah, dude. God, that was only 150 years ago. I love America.
Right. I'm glad. I've joked about this since I was a kid and now I'm living it and it sucks. But I was like, man, I can't wait for it to be the roaring 20s again. And not in that like meme, like shitty emo sense. I meant it like in I wanted to do like the Charleston again. Like maybe alcohol will be illegal. I mean, like politics wise, it's definitely the same. Depression wise, it's definitely the same. I'm sure 2029 we will have another Great Depression.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what will happen, but the 2030s are going to be they're fitting to be lit. I'm living in Nebraska. Maybe there'll be another Dust Bowl here.
There you go.
Maybe we'll move to Mars and we can have their sort of Dust Bowl season. Maybe we'll put the NFL on Mars and we'll make that the first Super Bowl. We'll call it the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Like the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Bowl full of potpourri, the Car Key Bowl. Yeah, the Pepto-Bismol Bowl. All the fucking the Werther's Original Bowl.
Necco wafers.
The Necco wafers bowl. Yeah, dude. I mean, fuck. I don't know. I'm surrounded by football stadiums. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's my economy. How's Connecticut? How's Connecticut treating you? I miss it sometimes. And that's how bad Nebraska is. I miss Connecticut. I'm like, I wonder how Bridgeport's doing.
I think Bridgeport's doing okay. I mean,
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
I always say this: are any of us doing okay?
No.
It's just I think we're all trying to survive.
Yeah.
I always tell
Is
people
that
I was
Connecticut's state
born.
motto? We're all just trying to survive.
I was born during a recession. Uh,
Mm.
I grew up during a recession. I don't know anything other than a recession. Like I literally,
Yeah, it's like every 7 years, like your taste buds.
yeah, it's like the whole like how gum takes 7 years to break down in your stomach, which I recently found out that's probably not the case. But
Not true.
I love. I try to tell like the younger kid because I work with. I'm like the
You can
third
definitely get
oldest.
constipated though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You got to watch out for that plug butthole. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
And
It's like
old
when
man
you're
at
you're
Kilmer.
doing the dishes and then your sink starts filling up and you're like, what is going on? And then you reach in there and you pull out this claw of like yuck.
Yeah,
That could be your butthole.
I know. Uh, you know,
Now I
old
gross
man at
myself
Kilmer.
out.
Old man at Kilmer used to say, "God, watch that butthole." Just
Yeah.
sayings.
That's what
Um,
your dad used to tell me that too.
I guess I hope
I'd be
not.
like, who are you?
I know. Uh, I think for me, Connecticut exemplified. My favorite New England story is that uh, someone is someone has a flat tire on the side of the road, and someone comes to help, and they'll help them fix the tire, and then they'll just talk shit about that person as they're putting the tire on and as they're leaving.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
do
that's like a
they'll
state of
go do
mind.
they'll do the good deed.
Hmm.
It's like we're that asshole with the heart of gold. It's like, oh, we'll help you move, but we're gonna complain the entire time, and you better have some self-control.
Exactly. Like, see, over
Yeah,
here, I'm just like, he's aggressive, but like they're rude here in a different way. That's like not to your face, and they just talk shit about you behind your back. So I'm considered rude because I'm just like
upfront about it.
up front, very New England, loud, all that shit, which all might be valid critiques, by the way. But like the way they do it out here, not for me, bro. And also, there's like occult vibes here for sure. But like, yeah, like I totally get that because like this is the way I try and describe it to people in Nebraska to the way it's like at home, and I think it correlates with what they were saying. Home, okay. Here, it's very like, how are you? What are you doing? Let's converse for 25 minutes. Fuck that shit. I'm like, that. And if you say fuck that shit, that's rude here.
Yeah.
But if I like back home, I hold the door for you
Yeah.
and you like dawdle or like you then want to talk to me or something, anything that takes up time
Yeah.
is rude.
Yeah.
It's like,
Time and
no,
money.
it's not that I have better things to do. It's just like, I don't want to do this. So we don't have
Yeah.
to do this. And there's like that unspoken, like, you're right. So when you break that contract in the East Coast, they're like, what the fuck's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Like, just mind your own fucking business. And then they're like, there people are so rude there. It's like, you're rude for thinking that you're just allowed into people's like whatever, like what the fuck. And it's so
Yeah.
hard to translate that to people because you just come off as like fucking like dismissive or whatever. And but whatever, I don't know. Everyone else is all like way too immediate to be like, can I come over to your house and make a peach cobbler in your oven? Like, I think we're best friends. And you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I have no peach cobblers in this oven. I hate that.
Like something here happened for the first time in like my adult life. Like someone just stopped by, like just
Oh,
came
wow.
over without telling me. I was like, no.
How did that work?
How do you think I responded?
No. Well, that I know you, so it could have if I were to play pick your own adventure with Brian
Yeah.
Barbecue, it would be like, what the fuck are you doing? You could have sent me a DM.
Hmm.
Who the fuck are you? Do you have my food? Fuck you.
Right. But do you
Just
think I
like
let that person
Pokemon.
in? Of
Did you?
course I did. But I berated them
Okay.
the entire time for being intrusive. It's like you can come in, but I don't understand what the fuck's the matter with you.
Yeah, I just
It was the
it's
whole like exactly what you said. Like this could I made like first I was like, no. Like, no, like do a lap or something.
yeah.
Like, bro.
You make them run an errand for you. They
Yeah,
got
oh, I've done that. I've done that like when I knew people were coming over. It's like you're trying to get ready in time, but you just can't do everything. So
yeah.
you're like, as soon as they get there, you're like, oh good, I'm walking out. Like I want to go grab energy drinks at this gas station right here. And they're like, can I like go in your apartment and pee? You're like, let's just go to the gas station for you know what I mean? Like, let's just go.
Yeah. It's like
Being
that's
that
what
person to
pushes were
do the let's
invented.
just go is great, but being the person that's like, no, I actually do need to use your bathroom, and they're like, no, I can't, like, nightmare.
Yeah, that's why bushes are invented. I mean, they're great. Like if you need to pee,
For
outside is the
fellas.
perfect toilet.
Yeah. Well, also, my wife tends to like poo poo that. Like, if I just start grabbing for a bottle to pee in the car, she's like, what's the matter with you? Like, why is your dick out? Like, there's other people in the car. Like, stop it. Like, and I'm like, rules. It's
Yeah,
like, don't you know? I said pull over 8 seconds ago. Didn't you hear my my first and last cry for help?
that's why I think everybody should carry at least 2 or 3 catheters on them.
Oh my God. They're not fun. I've had two in my life, brag. Uh
Eh,
so yeah, you know, I'm all loose now. I just have a loose floppy P. No. I was never awake, obviously, when they were put in. Oh, I've had more than two. I've had three. Ugh, God damn it. But I've been very wide awake every time they've been taken out, and that is a pain that I would wish upon nobody. Literally
I can think of a
nobody.
couple of people, but
No, it's like I remember just screaming like I got hit by a car when I was like a teenager, like skateboarding, and I was like in the hospital for like eight, I don't even know, a long time. I had broke a few bones and shit. Like I got fucking hit by a car going like 50 miles an hour, not like he tapped me and then I was like, fuck you, dude. I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Help. Like, my bones are just like fucking like, I'm just like in like a swastika, like crippled pose. Uh, fucking, yeah, dude.
that's
I don't
come up a
even,
lot, Brian.
huh?
The swastikas come up a lot.
Oh, I
You
said it,
mentioned it
yeah.
like
Well,
3
because,
times.
dude, you know why? Because like I do episode one of This Is Comedy now. I got like three dudes on the couch, whatever. I'm like, it does like the same with you. I give them the same direction. Like, we're just gonna talk, like it's whatever, like it'll start, I'll let you know. Like literally how this started. And they're kind of just doing some back and forth, and I like do like the 3, 2, 1, and then I'm like, all right, it's recording, and they're talking about like a cornfield filled with swastikas in South Dakota, and I'm like, what the
I
fuck
wouldn't
is the
be.
matter with you? I was doing it because it's like, what kind of shape would you describe a person as
Yeah,
if they're all like literally like this and shit, like mangled? But like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess it's on the mind. You know, you live
It's
in
like,
Nebraska, swastikas tend to come up. Well, I was also talking about did you we didn't know each other then. You weren't around in Connecticut comedy when I ran open mic at this bar, and then one day the owner had sold it over like a heroin debt to Hell's
yeah.
Angels, and the Hell's Angels let me keep my mic there, and I would get like blackout drunk and like argue with like bartenders that like just got out of prison, but they were given like a shot, and I'd look and they'd have like fucking like legit like those tattoos, and I'd be like
Yeah.
so drunk, like, why do you hate Jews and shit? Like just no couth. I mean, they don't have a couth whatsoever. I'm not trying to be like I was so rude to the Nazis, but like, like it was like just like not looking out for my own well-being is a better way to put it. But I liked that venue. It had a glittery painting of Bill Murray. I mean, he's disgraced now too. Fuck, never mind. I hate that he plays.
What happened to Bill Murray?
Someone said he was like gross or made like something. He did something nasty to a woman on a set. He's kind of had a lot of complaints about him before in the past for being kind of like a little grab assy or like being a little fucking malicious, like kind of being like a huge dickhead to people.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you watch Ghostbusters and you're like, he riffed that whole movie and you're like, realize he's literally just hitting on that chick and being like a dickhead. And you're like, is he like actually like, fuck, is he just riffing? Like, but it's like, he's not, is he riffing in character is what I'm asking. Yeah. And then it becomes the whole like artist. Okay. We're talking about things that we were talking about off show, but I'm going to bring up something more off show. You asked me when we first started talking, you said, what's the comedy scene like in Nebraska? I have a great, just this describes it all. The first mic I did here, and it's tonight too. It's at a cigar bar. Ham and I went there the first time in masks. Everyone's just smoking cigars inside, and I got COVID like immediately when I moved here. Surprise. But it's like packed shithole Republican/libertarian viewed fucking cigar lounge where they have chessboards and everyone just talks over each other's sets at the open mic. But there is a painting of Bill Cosby as a clown on the back where there's like a little like nice couch. You can sit under the Bill Cosby thing. And I always thought it was disgusting. My co-host of my show, This Is Comedy Now, Ryan Dowd, he makes fun of that painting every time. Ham's even talked about making a replica as someone else and us switching it. Like, that's how much everyone hates this painting. And then I found out recently the owner only put that there after Bill Cosby's allegations came out. So that's what the comedy scene's like here in Nebraska. And that's why I'm recording my podcast tonight instead of going to that open mic.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. Yeah, I mean, you should just take the painting.
None of these people are going to listen to this. That's the best part. But like, it's true. I miss it. Like, because I hated living in Connecticut. It's like there's ultra pettiness, there's ultra competitiveness, and for a long time when I first started, there was good validity to that competitiveness. Like, yes, you hated everyone in the lineup, but the only ones that but the audiences benefited from us hating each other, because all we tried to do was outshow each other, was just bury the next guy and bury the guy before us and just be like, I was the best. And all I got was everyone did 10 out of 10 performances. Doesn't matter who their favorite was. Everyone just got a great show, and we all hated each other secretly and got drunk by ourselves. But recently, I don't know when the fuck it happened. And this goes across the board in comedy. The more I started traveling, the more I saw it was like new people kind of trying to start this own thing. And like, it was more of like backpatting and being buddies and playing PlayStation, not actually telling them, hey, that sucks when you do that. Like saying, hey, good set when you were smoking during someone's set literally is counterintuitive to everything. But it also became this like, everyone wanted money quicker, and like people started focusing more about being like having more time, like thinking about the comedy in minutes, probably because of the internet and like how feature and headlining spots work. They're like, I just want 30 minutes. They're not like, I want to be the funniest person on the show. They're like, I want 30 minutes. Like, why is that person headlining? I should be headline, and Connecticut had that too. It became like no one wants to host because there's too many egos on the show, but it's like the host needs to be like funny and fucking important. You know what I mean?
They carry the show.
Yeah. And like the more I like traveled, I would be like, oh, Connecticut kind of has it right though, because like as like flawed and like fucking toxic and shitty as it is, a lot of these comics still pound for pound are better than these like blind leading the blind newer scenes here. And now I'm here where it's like it kind of feels like this blank slate, because I live in this city where it's like there's 10 comedians. So it's like it seems like the possibilities are endless, but it's like it's so tough to get anything popping anywhere, talent aside, with anything. And I'm not even taking a shot at anybody, because it's like you don't have enough people to consistently supply something fresh
Yeah.
in like an
Um,
open, other than an open mic, because it's like that's where at least those 10 people could try new stuff. But it's like, what are
yeah.
the odds comedians try new stuff? They don't want to burn the good shit.
Yeah.
It's like you never had old shit. You just
Yeah.
started. I don't know what I'm actually complaining about now at this point either, but like I just think it's vastly different.
Um, for someone, when we met, I was when we met, I was kind of new. I
Yeah.
recently celebrated 4 years um
Has it been
doing
that long
stand up.
already? Yeah, you were maybe like 6 months into like doing stand up proper, but not like magic, obviously,
Yeah. And
when we met.
what I noticed is, because a lot of people don't realize that I have a lot of performing experience. I've been doing paid magic shows since I was 14 years old. That means
Mm.
parents were trusting me with their kids. I've been paid to perform, which always sounds weird out loud.
Oh, for
And
sure. It's tough to
um,
articulate that without sounding like jaded. Literally, like people pay me to do that. Like this is a job.
and so when I went up and did comedy, I kind of knew like I always tell this to my magic students, because I teach an inductor class in sleight of hand and in performing.
It's
I always
awesome.
tell I always tell my students, I say, um, in magic, it's vastly more important to know why you're doing something than it's knowing why is different than there's a difference between how and why, and
For
knowing the difference
sure.
between both is important, because when I go up and do a set, I have that set memorized. I have all my props. I know where everything is. Um,
But then you riff punch too, though.
I do riff a bunch, but I riff. Um, it's kind of interesting. I often this is another thing I teach my students. I says, when you go skydiving for a first time, they just don't let you jump out of a plane.
For sure.
They stick a person on your back, and they're
Tandem
basically
master.
doing all the work.
Mm.
So what I'm doing is I'm working inside a set structure, which allows me to riff just in
Oh, for
case.
sure. Right. I
Yeah,
mean, I get it too. I'm a big riffer. I was saying
yeah,
like that's a
because
great way to put it. I guess I'd never thought
yeah,
about it like that.
yeah. So when I teach my students, because I got to teach them how and why, but I also got to teach them the mechanical method of how something works.
Oh, dude, that's like something you can't like. I mean, like, yes, you can and stuff, but it's like, yeah, those are the little things where it's like those people like they act like they got it because they get those little like shots of like success. This is where it equates into comedy. It's like, dude, you're like so far from like learning how to like use
Yeah,
voice dynamics. It's like, yeah, like those little things you can't teach. Where it's like, I get what you're saying. It's like you can like, I'm glad that you're giving people like realistic like
yeah,
expectations, warnings, like real things, not just
yeah,
being like, like improv class, like it's about finding the truth and the funny in the scene. It's like, it's
yeah,
about like just saying something good that you're actually comfortable with actually
yeah.
fucking doing. Like,
One of the things I try to do, because I also teach a intro class in physical comedy, and
you just
physical
punch kids in the
comedy
dick.
that
I'm
that
joking.
no, physical comedy is interesting because you're still using a setup and a punch,
Absolutely. I mean, who said?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think it's a Hitchcock quote where it's about like, comedies like the guy falling down the sewer grate. Like, the tragedy is like you follow and you see that guy like at the bottom, like all like dead, like legs are broken and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
What I teach my students is that one of my, before they know, they're sitting down with their notepads and I come up and I accidentally bump into the stool and knock it over. Then I pick the stool up, arrange everything, and then I ask my students, why was that funny? Why is knocking something over funny? It wasn't the fact that I knocked over my stool, it's the fact that I wasn't paying attention. So as me being the only person in that frame, in that moment, I come out undistracted. I didn't see the stool. It's knocked over. I picked the stool up. And I teach.
Damn, I'm sweaty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh. I teach.
You see that? Like we're having a good conversation apparently because I'm like enthralled and stuff.
Yeah. I teach them how to set something up. It's like the Three Stooges is a classic example. You have three guys who do not have any business doing what they're doing, but they're trying to survive in an environment that is
right,
terrible.
for sure.
They're trying to make themselves. They're trying to they're trying to earn money to survive, but they're not plumbers. They're not.
They're not.
Every single situation, they're not qualified to do anything. But every single scene is set up, and it's a three-tiered system. You have a setup and a punch, but you also have a reaction because you have three people. So you'll have Curly set up a silly situation, Mo reacts to it, and then Larry's there. And
well, you need three. Like that's the rule of three. Not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but it's like I think like the root of comedy is like three things always. It's either surprising, anger, or stupidity. And the Three Stooges all have one of those things. Like blah 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 does something stupid, it makes the other one like angry, and then it makes the other one do something fucking wild that surprises the shit out of them.
Yeah, and I always tell people, I say, when you're writing a scene,
getting more coffee.
When you're writing a scene, I often put it to you like this. When you're standing in line waiting for your food at McDonald's, and the guy in front of you, who has obviously been at a McDonald's before, can't figure out what he orders, even though he's ordered the same thing every time.
Dude, like people that want menus when they're like, I'm going to order Chinese food. It's like, just fucking tell me the thing and I'll tell you the fucking battleship number.
Yeah. And then I say, extract the humor from that. And the humor
your frustration.
The humor comes from the tension that the person waiting, the person's worked all day, they're hungry, and you can hear the person's inner dialogue. It's like, please pick something. I'm hungry. Please pick something. And it's like, and the laugh will come from the release of tension. Where that comes from is what the writer has to come up with. But these kids are really funny in the fact that they start off with the conception of what comedy is, but when they get up there and try to make each other laugh, and they realize it's very difficult.
Yeah. I heard you. I had to pee, probably because I keep drinking so much coffee, but I was like in this to piss it.
It sounded healthy.
You could hear it?
No.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, it's just because it's like these kids, they're coming from a place of pure silliness, and then they'll go up. Like I said, I make these 14 and 15-year-old kids go up and do like 4 or 5 minutes of stand-up comedy, and it's like
That's such
my
an
teacher.
awkward age too.
It's
Like
like
everything
my
you do is
teachers suck.
embarrassing.
My parents suck, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, nothing has changed.
My 15-year-old brother, or he's like 16 now, he came to a Zoom open mic we were doing when he was 15. He did like two of them. And the first one he did, he crushed. The second one, he like did a character, and it was clearly like him just trying to do like incel jokes, like, but it was like not authentic, and like it just kind of ate it. But like, I'll give him an A for effort. He at least like understood what he was like doing, you know what I mean? Because it's like that age, like, yeah, you just like talking is annoying and embarrassing, and everything you say is quote cringe or whatever, and like, you know, you just don't even want to do shit like at that point. So it's like that's funny that you make him get up. It's like in like ways that I guess I can relate is there's a comic out here that's a professor at UNL, the college, and she's an English teacher, but she lets them like for like their final, they can do stand up as like one of the things. And she did a graduation class, and I guess it was real good and stuff too. And like most of the people did it, but it was also like what was that it's like do stand up or write a paper.
Yeah.
What would you rather fucking do? Because like we asked like or we saw like one of the kids because I think oh Ham went and talked to them one time, and then one of the kids came in like at her restaurant that she works at, and Ham was like, "Are you gonna do stand up again?" She's like, "Fuck no," like because like right, why would you? But like it's kind of funny, like the way like I think stand up's good like for you in a lot of ways. Like if you just pretend like I've never had a genuine conversation with anyone in my life. I've only just done crowd work on people. You know, like I'm at the bank, I'm just doing crowd work. You know, I'm asking for a mortgage. You know, I'm interviewing Paul. I'm just doing crowd. I fucking like, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I think I mean, shit. I started comedy when I was fucking 20, and I'm about to be 34 in 5 days, you know, like it helped me develop as I stutter, like how to articulate my thoughts quicker and more on the fly and be more like present in the moment. I think being present is super imperative to comedy, let alone like life. You know, it allows you to like just be like, that chair is weird. And everyone's like, it is fucking weird. You know, it's a survival mechanism. I think a lot of times you get like advice of do comedy like it's like just your friends in the crowd to pretend everyone's naked or whatever. I think those are both incorrect mentalities. I think it should be like when you are at a job interview and you really need it and you are bombing at that job interview, and that's like that bring out that level of bullshit that you're willing to bring to that, and that's how you do comedy. That soullessness, like selling knives door to door mentality. Yeah, baby. Well, now we're cooking with fire. See, and you pulled out an 8 ball. That's how you know. Yes, and more, you know?
See what I do with it on my OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting an OnlyFans. It was, in fact, before well, a joke on the pod, and I might do it, is I'm going to start an OnlyFans where I chop wood.
Yeah.
And I think that might be fun. But I swear to God, and I'm not even joking, because I said it as a joke to Ham the other day. And then right before we did this interview, I was looking into it. I was thinking about just making a feet finder account. Patreon's not doing so hot. So if I can't get subscribers, I'm just going to get into feet stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And she said she didn't care. She's like, I just want you to make money, honestly. Thank God I hosted that karaoke night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what the comedy scene's like here. Karaoke nights.
I just feel like when every time I do a show, every time I get the opportunity to get on stage, it's a commercial for myself, and I feel like I owe it to myself and my audience to do the very best every single time I go out.
That's such
and
a
I
sweet.
try to kill it every time. And even in I remember the first time I did Comedy Magic for you guys. I brought my own stool and I brought my table and I pulled out a macaroni necklace for Josh Levinson's girlfriend or partner at the time. And
They're new all the
like,
time, so just the lady he was with that night
yeah,
would probably suffice. Let's go with lady of the night, actually.
yeah, he's gonna love that. And
Sure. If he listens to this, I will pay you.
yeah, and that macaroni necklace was interesting because people literally got mad at me within the comedy community because they wanted me to make them a macaroni necklace. And that's how I look at comedy. You know, I pick somebody in the audience who looks like they're generally having a good time, and I make them macaroni art. And it's so weird, but it's uniquely me.
It is
And
uniquely you. And that's cute. And that's comedians in a sense too. Of course, they all got mad at you because they're like, why does this person deserve the macaroni necklace? Like, they're not even funny. Do you know how many open mics I've crushed it at lately? Like, have you even heard my new getting a hand job is like this joke? Like, you should have gave me the I can't believe you didn't give a macaroni. You know who really deserves the macaroni necklace? More POCs, honestly. You know, like, fucking.
I remember the first
When's the
time I
last
did
time you
that.
gave a fucking NB person a fucking macaroni necklace? You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what they'll fucking say. And like,
Yeah.
but that's the magic of it. But your strategy is the exact opposite of mine. Is I find the person that's having the least amount of fun and I torment them for the
Yeah.
sake of everyone. I go, why are you being such a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Visibly, yeah, they cross their arms just like that. Usually, as soon as I start digging in, and
Cold. I'm sorry.
no. See, you did exactly what they do. Is I'll engage them, and then they cross their arms, and then I go, "Why the fuck did you just cross their arms?" Then they undo. I go, "Well, now you can't uncross your arms." You know, you know me. I'm immediately confrontational because, because I've had to be. I've gone on stage and people just laugh before I say anything. I'm like, "Well, that's not good." Sight unseen. You're not supposed to laugh before I said any words. Like, fuck you, you fucking hicks, and then I spit on them.
Yeah. And it's so funny because with the macaroni necklace gag I did, it was supposed to be a necklace of human teeth. That was the original idea. But the problem is that there was a wrestler called Danhausen, and his whole gimmick is he has a jar of teeth. And I came up with my teeth material, and I didn't want anybody to think I was stealing his gimmick. So I changed it to macaroni. And initially there was
The macaroni necklace is way cuter too. If you gave someone a necklace of teeth, what the fuck? I mean, that'd be so funny. But like,
and,
teeth are weird.
how it was supposed to, I was like, hey guys, the idea of the trick is I was supposed to take out like loose macaroni, snap my fingers, and it turned into a necklace. And then Rebecca's like, wouldn't it be funny if you just gave somebody a macaroni necklace? You just pulled it out of your pocket and handed it to someone. And I was like,
funny.
That's uniquely me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it's like, I think Miles Mortale said it best. It's like, you are a nice Tony Clifton. You are like an Andy Kaufman. Like, you don't care if the audience thinks you're funny. You're gonna go out there, and I say, look, if you're gonna crash and burn, it might as well be like Goose and Top Gun. I'm breaking my own neck.
I mean, that's how I feel too. I think we can both agree on that. I've always said this: if I'm gonna bomb, everyone's coming with me. I'm talking like, you know, those like, I just saw a meme the other day, but it was like showing these like experimental grenades they were working on, where one was like a football and you just threw it, like, which is so fucking funny because like only Americans would know how to do it. But like, that's how I bomb, is I start taking those fucking things and I start hawking them at tables. Like, nice shirt. Where'd you get it at? The douchebag store? Boom. Hand grenade. I've always referred to it as throwing grenades into the crowd. I feel like I've heard someone say that, probably someone funnier than me, but like either way, that's how I bomb is like I start like blowing shit up. Like I'm not like, it's not like a pressure cooker bomb. It's like, no, this guy threw like 16 hand grenades into the fucking crowd and we just watched it like, hey, fuck you. What are you, tourist? In hook shot.
You a townie?
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you guys go to local reference bar and then you throw that because I heard pigs buy cocaine there, or whatever.
Just like the most inane insult. It's like your grandmother drinks water in July. Fuck you.
Yeah. You guys drink tap water out here? Gross. Like, fuck you, buddy. I love East Haven. And anyone that's from East Haven be like, that's not even authentic. We call it Staven. What the fuck's wrong with him? Give him the most. Oh man, I've been trying to explain that to people too, because like everyone's like, you live in the middle of nowhere of Nebraska. It's like, yeah, but there's like these rural towns out here, and this state's so big. You meet other people from Nebraska, and I go, where are you from? And they go, oh, some small town. You never heard of it, and you're like, all right, where? And then they say it, and you're like, yeah, you're right, I never heard of that. But like, I try and say like, Connecticut's such a small state, and like all those states over there. I'm like, if you tell me what town you're from in Connecticut, not only do I know where that town is automatically, but I know like basically your tax bracket too. Is that not like that? Like you go like I go, where are you from? And you're like Terryville. I go, fuck. And I go, I didn't know like you were doing so poorly in life. Like shit. Hey, at least you're near fucking Lake Compounds or whatever. It's a hop, skip, and a jump over to ESPN in Glastonbury where they have Hope and maybe a fucking Marty McFly's or whatever.
Yeah.
Maggie McFly's. Excuse me.
Yeah. No,
excuse me.
I don't care. I only ate there once and it wasn't impressive. So.
Bro, but that's that they don't fucking get that. Yeah. And I'm like saying like, and they're like, how big is it? I'm like, you drive across the whole state, and because here's the thing, I drive 3 hours west of Nebraska. Guess where I am? Fucking Nebraska. If I drive 3 hours where I've fucking lived in Connecticut, I could be in fucking Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like literally at the Liberty Bell, like literally fucking sniping someone in New Jersey, like.
Yeah. Not Nebraska though, huh?
No, I'd just be fucking shooting a fucking dead possum that someone hit on a dirt road. Dog, there's dirt roads in Lincoln.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
How was Las Vegas?
It was amazing. I fucking loved it. That was the thing, is like I caught myself, which I never catch myself saying, like, I want to live here. And I was saying things like, like, I love how soulless it is. I love like how like show businessy it is. Ham pointed this out to me because it's so like man-made and like against God and everything. She's like, it kind of has like this East Coast like mentality to it though. And I'm like, that's because like all like New Yorkers like fucking built it. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's basically the plot of one of the Godfathers. And then she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm just like talking about the dude like getting shot on the massage table. And then she's like, I've never seen the movie. I'm like, anyways. Then we're like, oh my God, is that Gordon Ramsay's fucking place? And that, it's so like everything's just like, it's such a tourist like fucking like trap though. Like I just loved it in like this weird way. But then I like left and I was like, do I actually want like love Las Vegas or do I hate Nebraska so much? But like there's I loved it. I truly did love it. Like I mean like did I hate Nebraska? Like as in like, do I actually want to live in Las Vegas? Because I did catch myself saying that shit. But like I was like, man, I was just seeing like mountains again and shit. Like I've also never been that west. I've never been to the West Coast, so that was like as far west as I've ever been. So like besides like literally where I live and like things like parallel with that, like I've been to like Austin, like OK City, shit like that, like but then like Lincoln, like a little bit more west in Nebraska. That's really it. I've never been to Colorado. I keep thinking I'm gonna do shows there and then I fucking don't. I just go to Chicago instead. And then I just flew to fucking Vegas and then I was just there and it was dope. And it was just dope. It was I missed weed being fucking legal again. There's like 24-hour dispensaries. I know you don't partake, but just being like 2 a.m. and just being able to buy weed and then go to a 7-Eleven and fucking argue with a cashier over a fucking lighter. It just felt good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the first thing I said to him, is I love how shitty everyone is here. How like mean, like the locals are just gross and assholes, and the tourists are just assholes and tourists. And I was like, I love it. And she's like, that is like what I hate. And it was just like, you know, even though Lincoln's like still the biggest city I've ever lived in, like being in like an actual big city, I'm like, it's not a big city anymore. You know what I mean? I've just, because that's always been my joke, is like people were like, you're moving to the middle of nowhere. I'm like, Lincoln's the biggest city I've ever lived in. I used to live in the fucking woods in Connecticut, dog. Like, you don't even understand. Like, I'd be like, is that chicken shit or fucking cow shit? You know what I mean? Like, straight up. Like, there's farms everywhere, whatever they're fertilizing it with. Like, whether I lived here, there, or wherever, I always lived somewhere pretty rural. I've always been like an off the grid kind of guy. But I knew moving to Nebraska, I couldn't live off the grid like that. But like, still, like, comparatively, like Vegas, like, I don't know. It kind of checked a lot of boxes in a lot of ways. I fucking had a great time. The most money I lost, did not gamble on any machines or anything, any tables. Most money I lost at the arcade.
I like it.
I'm being honest.
I like the energy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably have to go.
Yeah, we did a long fucking episode. I was about to do it, but I wanted to answer your question thoroughly. But dude, thank you so much for doing this. We did a long fucking time, actually. Thank you. I never know. Especially with the first ones, I was like, I don't know even know what to aim for. I guess an hour is probably pretty chunky anyway. So do you have any plugs? I don't know when. I could put this out pretty immediate, honestly. So do you have anything you want to plug anyway, or people can find you and shit like that?
I'm working on it. You can find it at Paul Kilmer on Facebook. Send me a DM. I will get back to you almost immediately or not at all.
Okay. I can always put it in the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Or in the description.
I'm available for children's magic shows. I'm available for stand-up comedy. I'm available to come to your house and be your best friend. Please.
I've booked Paul for all of those things, and he's never disappointed. I've done kids parties with him. I've done real shows with him. I've done best friend things with him. He's killed it. Honestly, I've said this a million times, not to your face. I'll say it to your face. I like 9 times out of 10, if I ever had a show, because I don't have shows anymore, when people would book me still and they would go, do you want anyone to open for you? I would 9 times out of 10 say Paul fucking Kilmer.
Yeah,
it's the God's honest truth.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, not even ham. Well, I'd say ham too, but usually people will try and do that 2-for-1 thing on us.
Ham. I'm not getting in that one.
No, I'm sure you're just as good at snuggling, but like, you know, I got to look out for my boo. But no, people always try and do that 2-for-1 thing. Like, can I book both of you? Or like, hey, since one of you's here, would you like to do a guest spot for free? You know what I mean? I'm like, nah. But no, always ask for Paul, because it's not just funny as fuck. You also get to watch magic, and I fucking love magic.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Even when he's not doing magic, it's magic, because he's magic at comedy. Boom, fucking nailed it. Double time. Paul, thank you so much. I know you do have to go, so I'll just like end it with you leaving and stuff. So thank you. Seriously, I love you, buddy. This was fucking amazing. I'll let you know when this is out and shit.
Okay.
I don't even have a name for these. I was just like, I'm just going to start interviewing people, but I know if I do, Paul Kilmer has to be the first. I mean, shit, you could be my co-host. You come with me to all of them. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but we're crushing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm down for anything. You know me. I'm down to clown.
Yeah, we're down to clown. That's what it's called. We're down to clown with Brian and the gang. All right. I love you, buddy. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for doing this little interview thing with me. Fuck yeah. We did it.